They said it was just pocket change, but hidden in the 1971 half-dollar is a story of American pride, rare errors, Cold War silver secrets, and forgotten millions. This isn't just a coin, it's a time capsule waiting to explode in value and history. The 1971 half-dollar coin is a piece of American currency that holds more value than most people realize to understand its true worth. We must go back to the aftermath of World War II, when the United States emerged as a dominant world power. The nation entered the 1950s and 60s with economic strength, military might, and cultural influence. But the events of the 1960s, including the Vietnam War civil rights movements and the assassination of President John F. Kennedy, shook the nation in 1964 to honor Kennedy's legacy. The United States Mint released the Kennedy half-dollar. The coin was an instant hit, struck in 90%. Silver collectors and Americans alike began hoarding them and removing them from circulation, which led to a shortage in the years following. Silver content in U.S. coins was reduced due to rising silver prices. By 1971, all circulating U.S. coins, except for a few special collector issues, were struck with no silver content. The 1971 Kennedy half-dollar was the first in this series to be minted, without any silver in its base design. It marked the beginning of a new era for American currency. The coin itself features the profile of John F. Kennedy facing left, with the word liberty above his head. The phrase, "In God we trust," appears split with, "In God" to the left, and "We trust" to the right of the bust. The date, 1971, rests at the bottom of the obverse side, designed by Gilroy Roberts. The obverse pays tribute to the late president in a bold and noble representation. The reverse side was created by Frank Gasparo, featuring the presidential seal, a heraldic eagle clutching arrows, and an olive branch surrounded by 50 stars with United States of America, and half-dollar inscribed around the border. The coin was struck at 3 mints: Philadelphia with no mint mark, Denver with a D mint mark, and San Francisco with an S. The Philadelphia and Denver issues were struck for circulation, while the San Francisco Mint produced proof versions intended for collectors. The metal composition of the 1971 Kennedy half-dollar was a copper nickel clad with a core of pure copper and outer layers of copper nickel. This was a significant change from the previous 40% silver coins that had been minted from 1965 to 1970. This shift to base metals reflected the nation's attempt to preserve its silver reserves and adjust to the evolving economy in terms of mintage. The Philadelphia Mint produced over 155 million coins, while the Denver Mint struck over 250 million. The San Francisco Mint produced nearly 4 million proof coins. One of the key reasons collectors value the 1971 half-dollar is due to minting errors and variations. Among these errors are the famous 1971 D. Kennedy half-dollars mistakenly struck on leftover 40% silver planchets from 1970. These transitional errors are extremely rare and can be worth thousands of dollars depending on condition, weight, and authentication. Other errors include double die obverses, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, and missing layers. These varieties are always sought after and command premium prices at auctions. One well-known discovery was made by a collector who found a 1971 D struck on a silver planchet weighing approximately 11.5 grams instead of the normal 11.34 grams. It was authenticated and sold for a significant amount of money, showing just how valuable these rare errors can be in terms of historical context. The 1971 Kennedy half-dollar was released during the Nixon administration, at a time when the nation faced economic challenges, inflation, and unrest. While the coin carried the image of a fallen president, it circulated in a nation uncertain of its future. Yet the presence of Kennedy's face in everyday transactions gave Americans a sense of remembrance and unity over the years. The use of the half-dollar in general circulation declined by the 1980s and 90s. Most Americans rarely saw half-dollars in everyday use, yet the coins continued to be produced mostly for collectors. The 1971 half-dollar has therefore gained a kind of mystique. It is part of a generation of coins that were both widely produced and yet largely absent from daily life. Collectors prize it not only for its design, but also for its place in American monetary and cultural history. Its numismatic value depends heavily on condition and rarity. While standard circulated examples are worth around face value, higher-grade uncirculated and proof coins can fetch much more, especially if certified by agencies like PCGS or NGC, for example. A 1971S proof coin in PR70. Deep Cameo can be worth over $100. Meanwhile, a 1971D silver transitional error can reach into the five-figure range. The grading scale plays a critical role in valuation. Coins are assessed on a 70-point scale, with higher numbers representing superior condition mint state coins, typically begin at MS60 and go up to MS70, with MS65 and above being considered premium uncirculated coins. Collectors often search for coins with strong strikes, minimal bag marks, and clean fields, aside from condition. The market also reacts to historical events, anniversaries, and media exposure. Coins featured in news stories, documentaries, or popular YouTube channels often spike in value due to renewed public interest. The Kennedy half-dollar has been minted in every year since 1964, but the 1971 edition stands at a crossroads between the silver era and modern-clad coinage. It marks a pivotal transition in U.S. monetary history as inflation continued and digital payments rose. The role of physical coins like the half-dollar diminished, yet their collectible value grew among enthusiasts around the world. In auction records, we find fascinating prices paid for 1971 half-dollars with unique characteristics. In 2016, a 1971D silver transitional error graded MS61 by NGC sold for over $12,000. This example alone sparked a flurry of activity among collectors checking their old rolls and bags for similar finds. Some collectors have even found rare coins in bankrolls or inherited collections, proving that valuable discoveries can still be made today. If we trace the half-dollar's origin, it dates back to the late 18th century. The first U.S. half-dollar was minted in 1794, and it evolved through the bust Liberty seated Liberty Barber and Franklin series before transitioning to the Kennedy design in 1964. Thus, the 1971 coin is part of a much older legacy, one that represents changing times, politics, metal economics, and identity for collectors. Today, the 1971 half-dollar represents opportunity, mystery, and nostalgia. Whether you're a beginner or an advanced numismatist, understanding its history and characteristics is essential to appreciate its full value. As the market continues to grow, demand for well-preserved and rare examples will only increase, especially as younger generations rediscover the value of coin collecting through digital platforms, documentaries, and educational content. The Kennedy half-dollar remains one of the most iconic and enduring series in U.S. numismatics. The 1971 edition specifically captures a turning point, a coin struck in honor of a beloved president during a time of national change, a coin that still hides treasures among millions that were forgotten in drawers, bankrolls, and jars across America.